blessing's not a blessing if you can't handle it, because, it would bring you down. So I believe as you go through these difficulties, as you get stronger, you're developing your muscles and you're thinking, okay, hey, God, you gave me the compact center. You turned that big company around and we won that lawsuit. And you go through some of those things, well, you're gaining that strength to where God's going to take you.
You're really asking us to be, those of us that are in some horrible situation, we can all sit here and think about somebody that's in some kind of a bad situation. You're asking us really to redefine those as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds hard, but go for it.
Yeah, it is, Matt. I agree with everything you just said, that we don't wish this, we don't, but things happen in life. And so I do think that the option is to get bitter, to give up on life. I can't take this, and to just drop out. Well, God didn't design us to do that. And so I think the option is to say, okay, this has happened. I don't even know the reason. I'm not God. I don't have, I think we can each think that we're not God. He's got His ways. But in the meantime, I believe and trust God enough to know that on the other side of this, somehow God's going to make me better, or somehow He's going to bring some kind of good out of it. Now that's hard if you just lost a loved one or something. So I think it takes some time, but I think that is the premise, is when you face something that's difficult, rather than falling apart, have the attitude, you know what, I can handle this. My Father knows what He's doing. When He designed my life, when He laid out the plan, there's no surprise in there for Him. And so I think that's the whole thing. And then you think about in the Scripture, when people did great things, many times what led them to their greatness was a big obstacle. You didn't even take David. We all know his story, but he would never have become king if he hadn't have faced this big giant. On the other side of that giant was a big future for him. So, he could have looked at giant like a lot of the other Israelites and thought, oh my gosh, this guy, I'm scared of him. Let's retreat. But you know what? He had a different mentality. He had a different perspective. And I know God causes that faith to rise up at times, but I think the premise is he thought, you know what? This giant can't defeat us. And I've got what it takes to fulfill my destiny. And instead of shrinking back and wilting, he took that step of faith.
It seemed like in David's case also, you've delivered me from the paw of the lion and the bear, which under normal circumstances I shouldn't have been able to defeat. And so why not just take the same attitude to this impossible situation? So when you're facing an impossible situation, you can look beyond it, or at least you're asking us to look beyond it.
That's exactly right. I believe you look beyond it. I think you can, like Victoria was saying, at times you can look back and say, God, you caused me to defeat the lion, the bear. You've given me this victory and this victory. That's fuel for our faith. And I think too, Matt, another way to look at, we're talking about perspective, is God knows what's in your future, the good things in your future, the influence, the favor, but you have to be able to handle the weight of that. You have to be, your character's got to be there. You got to be able to withstand some opposition, some persecution, some people that don't like you. So I believe all along the way, God's getting us prepared. And I often think about a blessing's not a blessing if you can't handle it, because, it would bring you down. So I believe as you go through these difficulties, as you get stronger, you're developing your muscles and you're thinking, okay, hey, God, you gave me the compact center. You turned that big company around and we won that lawsuit. And you go through some of those things, well, you're gaining that strength to where God's going to take you. So I think we do have to pass these tests with a good attitude. And that's what prepares us to carry, I like to say, the weight of glory. I mean, the reason we have big difficulties is because we have a big future. Yeah. We have things coming against us, but God's getting us prepared. And I think it's important that, I don't want to go anywhere where I'm not prepared, where I can't carry the weight of what God has for me. And I think through these other challenges, we grow through them. And I guess what I'm saying too is, man, let's don't have a defeated mindset. Yes, we go through 2020s, and yes, we have things come against us, but you got to stir it up and say, look, God, you've armed me with strength for this battle. Yeah. You've already designed my foundation. This is not a surprise to you, this sickness or this child that's off course, this financial difficulty. Whatever it is, God, I'm going to go through it with a good attitude. I believe when you do that, you tap into a strength that you didn't know you had. I think about in the Scripture, it says that when, let me get it, my story's right. I think it was when Elijah was up on the mountain praying for rain. And he, 7 times went out there and didn't see a cloud in the sky. The 7th time, I think he saw that little cloud. But then it says that he came down the mountain and he told King Ahab, that he better leave because the rain was about to happen. An abundance of rain was coming. And the scripture says that God gave Elijah special strength and he outran the chariot to Jezreel. I think it was a 20-mile journey. Well, you know, a horse can run a lot faster than us for 20 miles, but you know, what struck me is God gave him special strength. Yeah. And I believe there are times that, you know, you're in this difficulties and on your own, you couldn't do it, but God's going to give you special strength. Yeah. He's going to have people there to encourage you. He's going to cause you to feel something in you that you didn't have. And so that's the way I like to look at these difficult times. Yes, in the natural, it should defeat me, but the God I serve knows how to give me special strength. He knows how to have angels minister to us. It goes back to that perspective, though, because, you know, Elijah could have been complaining, God, I'm surrounded. We're in a famine. How's this going to work out? But he's up there praying, worshiping, telling them, go out and look for a cloud. But, you know, when you release your faith, I believe you get strength to do things you couldn't normally do on your own.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.